What's going on, guys? Zach and Spence here from iTrendz coming at you guys with another watch list coming hot to you guys straight off the rally, which we did tell you guys about last time. We did tell you guys to be aware or just aware of the fact that a potential rally could occur, and we are certainly seeing that. Now we said it 2 weeks in a row, 2 Sundays in a row, and both Sundays has proven to result in the continued of this rally. We're currently up about 10% off of the lows really quickly. Let's just take a look at this. Up about 10%. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Up 7.3%. Our target, maximum upside target being 390 is about 11.6%. That's what we are looking at as one of our higher targets. If we did go above 390, we'd probably quickly shoot towards the 400 level, but it'd be very, very difficult for the bulls to sustain that rally there, given that nothing has changed in the macroeconomic environment. We're just getting too oversold at these levels down here towards 350 on SPY. So of course we need to expect some type of retracement back up. So a little bit of a background just before we get into what's going on this week and some of our trades. This rally that we're in right now, right? We're up 7.3%. 390 would be 11.6. This rally from the low of 374, I'm not taking it from this low here because we did a lot of consolidating in here, is about 15.1%. And then this rally right here from this low, I believe, is just over 10%, 10.9%. So you can see that the two previous big bear market rallies, this one was a lot of overextension. And this was very high at 16%. This was about 10%. So we can expect somewhere in that range that we're in right now, anywhere from 7 to 16% would be really, really high. Just out of curiosity, let's see what 400 is on the top side. 14.8. Okay. So we could expect something like that, but that would be a very, very high high that is likely to come out of this rally. And you got to be worrisome of the decimation of the market that's going to occur after that, because like we just said, there's nothing that's been changed in the macroeconomic field. We're still going to get hiked. We still need to be hiked. We have high inflation running, et cetera, et cetera. So this week, we've got a bunch of interest. Actually, this week is going to be very, very crazy, this week and next week. So this week, we have the largest ER week. We've got, I think, 37% of the S&P 500 companies reporting, and then 45% of the entire S&P 500 market cap reporting this week. It includes Apple, Amazon, Microsoft. Spencer's going to go over some of those names. We've got Google, we've got Visa, we've got CDX, we've got Exxon. We've got a lot of big names reporting this week. So that is going to add a lot of volatility in the market. Be prepared for a lot of big overnight swings like we've been seeing, which we also did say the last recording and the recording before that we have to be aware of big swings in the market overnight, right? So just make sure that you're being aware of that if you're a swing trader. Another thing I'd like to mention is that we do have GDP this week. That's huge. GDP, I'm looking on the calendar here, is Wednesday, I believe. Sorry, hold on. GDP is on Thursday at 8:30 in the morning. So that's a preliminary number for Q3. Last quarter, we did get negative, minus 0.6. That is technically, we are technically in a recession because 2 negative quarters. So this is a preliminary numbers. There's 3 prelims, so to make the average. So this is the first of 3. So this is going to be really, really big. That's going to have a huge impact on the market. So this is very large news. We've also got big news on Wednesday with new home sales. And then Friday, we also have, what else do we have? We have the employment cost, the PCE, and personal spending, and also the Michigan consumer sentiment at 8:30 and then 10. So this week is packed with a lot of news and a lot of earnings. And then next week, we have FOMC on Wednesday, November 2nd. So we've got to be we just got to be really honed in because it's going to be lots and lots of volatility up and down, up and down. So we got to be making sure that we're not getting too greedy in our trades up or down, making sure that we're just kind of our heads on a swivel. So anyway, getting into the actual market here, just looking at SPY, then we'll go into some trades. Right here, if you can see, I think you can, I just minimized that video thing. We are at 375 currently. Futures are open, and you can see over here on the left that NASDAQ is currently open at 1%. The Dow is up 0.75%, and ES, being the S&P 500 futures, are up 0.86%. At the highs, I believe that NASDAQ was up 1.25, Dow was up 1.2, and ES was up 1.2 as well. So that would put us actually up into this, just basically this 380 area that we have been talking a lot about inside of our chat. Feel free to check that out, link in the description below to our Discord. The 380 zone is likely where we will see when we wake up. We'll see this wick come to this 380. So what I'm personally looking at on SPY is I'm really watching this 375 because at this area we're going to be pretty overbought. We might even just barely be overbought on the 4 hour, just a smidge. We will be overbought on the hourly and the smaller time frames from there. So if we open up that high, it is worthwhile to take out some shorts back into this 375 area, some shorter dated shorts. Hold it back and down to this 375, but it's going to be really interesting to see if we're going to hold this 375 this week with all the volatility that we're going to see. And if we do end up holding this 375, it would be really cool because this is a great area to buy bounces, and we can, like we said in the beginning, see that extension back up towards this 390. Underneath 375, we do have this big level 372 where there's definitely lots of support sitting in. But underneath 372, you're going lower for sure. You're going to back down to this 367 to 366 level, and then so forth and so on, all the way down to these zones right here. So basically, what I'm saying right here is this 372 is definitely the bull saving grace this week, as far as holding this push into FOMC. And we will talk about FOMC on Wednesday on our next watch list. So we're not going to talk about that right now, so that we can get into some of the trades. So the first trade that I want to bring up is AA. So Alcoa is an aluminum mining company. They are inside of the Dow. It is particularly strong along with the Dow. The Dow is definitely particularly strong because inside of this rally, we are actually seeing some rotation, a little bit bigger of a rotation into some safe stocks, some value stocks like the Dow. All the companies that are comprised inside of the Dow. So this AA looks very, very good to me above this 4168. If we were to open up with a high wick inside of this 4271, I'd wait for it to come back down in the zone. However, if we open up right inside of this where we're at right now, I'm really just interested in holding this 40.4 zone. I'm actually even interested to buy calls inside of there, but I'd much more prefer if it was just above 4168. And these are my price targets: 4271, 4333, 4383, and then 4471 being absolute top, in which you could actually probably run it back for shorts back down to these 42-ish levels. So anyway, let's take a look at some contracts here. I have not looked at the contracts. Let's see, we're at 41 on the stock. You probably want to stay pretty close. These are pretty cheap right here. 45 calls look very nice. If we get that drop back down into 42s, I'd probably still stick at the 45 above that 41.68 level that I was looking at. I do like these 45s. Good volume, great open interest. If you wanted to go a little cheaper route, take the 50s. The only thing there is that on any pop, you're going to want to make sure that you sell a majority of your position there. So again, above 41.68, looking for the 45 calls for November 18th. Let's keep it moving here. I do have a couple other trades that I'll bring to you guys. Amazon, we already went over my SPY trade pretty much. Amazon is another one I'm looking at. They have earnings on Thursday. They have earnings on Thursday after hours. So that's going to be very, very interesting, of course, for the entire market, as Amazon is one of the largest companies in the world. So this is really going to be an interesting one to watch. I'm looking at trading it pre-earnings. I do think that we could see a run up into earnings on Amazon and Apple and other strong tech names. Certainly Amazon and Apple, just being that they are the big boys. Microsoft maybe one of those, although they kind of saw a little bit more downside inside of this downturn than some of the other companies. But basically what I'm looking for Amazon here is just to hold this 118. Now, if we were to open up really high inside of this 122, I'd actually be interested in taking a short dated short on this back down into this 120-ish area, in which I'd probably be more interested in looking for calls into earnings. So if that makes sense, if we open up high and we're inside of this 122 and we don't get a pull back to this 118, totally fine. I'll just wait on the calls. I'll sit in some shorts back down to 120, and then I'll take some longs off of the 120 bounce and then take it up to this 124-ish area pre-earnings. As for contracts, you can go to weeklies for these. Let's see, stocks at $1.19. If we were to go to that 122, 123 zone for shorts, would probably look towards these 117s, as they'd be much cheaper. They'd probably be in the lower twos range, or maybe the 115. So either the 117s or the 115s inside that 122, 123 zone. Excuse me. Or if it does come back into that desired 118 area where we're looking to take bounces, I'm looking for, I love these 125s because of the volume right here. And they would move. There's no doubt that they would move, but you just might want to be a little closer. I like these 125s. I do like the 123s. So I'd be in between the 125s and 123s and the 117s and 115s right there. So one last chart for you guys. Let's just take a look at the Dow, actually, the Dow futures, because this is I trade a lot of the Dow futures here. So hold on. What I'm looking at personally on the Dow is this 31,250 level is super, super important. I don't think it's really applicable to place any longs right inside of this zone. If you do get a higher extension, it'll be towards this 31,750 to 31,886 zone right here. In which I would just need some structure to form on a lower time frame to take my entries, but on a higher time frame, this doesn't look so good. We either need to pull back into this 30,850 to 31,000 zone, which is right here. I'm actually going to label that. Make sure that I label that before. Oops. Label that. Or I am looking for a push into this zone to take then shorts back down to this 31,250. See how we're feeling at this 31,250. If we're going to hold it, then I can see us pushing towards this 32,280 before FOMC next week, where we'll probably get decimated again. So with that being said, of course, this is futures. If you wanted to trade the Dow, the ticker is the DIA. So you could take the same exact trades just in options. So if you'd be interested in that, same exact ticker, same exact movement. The options do move nice. They're a little illiquid, so you can actually have the benefit of filling on the mid on both your ins and your outs. So you're going to have nice fills on both sides, or at least in my experience. Anyway, I'm going to pass the mic back to Spence, and he can go over some of his trades.
Yeah, what's going on, guys? Let's get it rolling. Let's go with UPS to start it off. I think UPS is in a really interesting area down here around these 160s. I'm looking over 167.70 or under 163.08. Now, what I want to say starting off with it is earnings. It is Tuesday pre-market. I'm actually interested in UPS because it normally holds up better than FedEx did. Did take a major hit. They are not going to report global outcome. I think that has some more to do with the world in general and then being told not to. But that being said, I think that we have a really interesting area of volume pocket forming up right here at this 167 area. I will be looking at a 170 call going into earnings. I actually do like the production. The volumes there is nice, and looking to see if this thing will push up towards that top side. I'm not really interested in the bottom side here. I just think that a lot of the negative catalysts had already been priced in here. Over that 167, we could see a pop up going towards that at 174.32 where I'd be topping out when it comes to UPS. Just want to be careful because that RSI is getting a little bought, but on the weekly, we're still way under that 30. So my next trade is going to be Microsoft, actually. So Microsoft for me is one of those companies that we can actually see some really positive games with a couple of its other sectors. Obviously, computer sales were down, but I think Microsoft has enough services for it to actually regain at least that 245 area. I'm looking over 245.32 to potentially take it towards a 250 call. A lot of volume is coming in here on Friday. Did trade this a little bit back and forth under 237.98. Be looking to take it back short, but I'm actually looking to take this towards the top side as well. I think they have some positive catalysts coming in the market. So it's one of those I'm going to be waiting to see. And I like that it's Tuesday after hours just because it'll give us a little room to work. I am kind of worried just in general with the market, like Zach was saying in the very beginning, with our rates still being pushed up, 10-year 4.2, the 2 years at 4.47. So macro conditions not really there, but we're definitely going to follow this rally as we continue to push on. So I think Microsoft's one of those larger companies that they're not going to get hit as drastically or be one of those that can withstand the upside. So I'll be looking at a 245 call on Microsoft going into earnings right at 245.32, or I'll be looking to even push up as far as a 250. A lot of volume going into that 250 strike and being that psych level. I may even roll up into that as well or play both of them and then kind of sell out and take profit on the way towards that top side. And then if we do see an extension up in Microsoft topping out around that 252, that's where I may actually look to take it, go back the other way. So it'll just be one of those plays. I want to see how far we get extended or how far we push up before taking the trade in the opposite direction. My next trade is actually going to be Visa. Visa, I think, is in a really interesting spot. We saw Amex have a negative reaction when it came to their earnings. They were saying that they cited weakness in the consumer. And so that's something I'll be interested in watching as well. Now, Visa did kind of climb back up to 191.24. I'll be looking at Visa over 193.12 to go towards a 195 call. Not too pricey, decent volume, little open interest there. So I'll be looking to take it towards that top side if we do continue to push. On the bottom side, though, is really interested in these 180s actually gaining a lot of volume under 184.27, which I know is a little ways away. I'll be looking to take it back the other way. But it's just one of those companies that I'm really going to be interested to see what they have to say about the consumer in general, just so we kind of get an idea of the underlying, and that'll give us a little leeway to play the rest of the week throughout. The last one I want to go over is McDonald's, actually. You pull up McDonald's. Cool. Sorry, I just froze my hand. We're looking at McDonald's here. I'm actually interested in McDonald's. I had a really nice bounce coming out of 235. Held that area pretty well. We are approaching towards these highs, so it's something we've got to be careful at. Over 258.11, I'm actually going to be looking at taking a 265 call for McDonald's over 258.11. I think we do have a chance to push this back up towards that top side. The big catalyst down there in that stock was definitely that Russian news, getting rid of that branch. Also, citing a little bit of food costs being a little bit of issue and labor costs going up as well. But I did like to see that bounce coming out of that 250 range over 258. I'll be looking at a 260. This is one of those names that's kind of a buy and hold. So I'll be looking to push that back up going towards that top side over 258.11. Now under 253.07, I'll be looking at a 250 put, but it's just one of those a little end towards the week. I just want to see which way the volume goes because this is a name that a lot of older generation hold in their stock portfolio. It's one of those buy and hold stocks. And so I'll just be interested in seeing how they report in general for this whole sector is actually something I'll be watching. Another interesting stock. That's what I got for my playlist this week. Another contract that I'm interested in and that Zach and I kind of took a liking to was actually T-Doc. We're looking at the 25 call. It's sitting with 8,000 volume. And you can see the rest of it around it is hardly, if not any. So I'll be looking to take this right up the jump just because T-Doc's just tremendously oversold. I get it. It's down $23, kind of where it started bottoming out. As a lotto going back up towards the top side, definitely something I would take an interest in and definitely one of those names that I want to get in on just because 23, if you look way back, even when an IPO, it's $15, $16. I just, for the potential it has for a pop or a catalyst going back up towards that top side and pushing back maybe even to 30 for earnings, I definitely is one of those names that I definitely want to take a little riskier lotto position out in and see how those contracts actually do perform. They were up 4.8% on Friday, so I will manage my entry. They're sitting at 175. I'll be looking to buy them around $1.60 if I can, $1.55 low end, and just see where we possibly get. But there's a lot of volume in here, and it'd be really interesting to see any positive report in this name, and I think this thing's just going to take off. So last but not least, on that one earning other play that I want to bring up is RTX, which is Raytheon. Defense sector, obviously, you know the world, with Russia already talking about nuclear weapons, China already mobilizing, and just a lot of things going on with missiles being shot in Pacific Ocean. It's definitely one of those names that I think that defense sector is going to get another look, another like. Lockheed had great earnings. So this is one of those names that I want to definitely jump into. This 90 level is really, really interesting. I'm looking over 89.39, and I'll be looking at taking a 92 call on RTX. Going in around 50 cents, kind of a cheaper play, but I do think they get towards that 90 level, could push all the way up to that 95. So I'll be looking to spend around 55 cents, take this to like a 75, 80 kind of push on a positive earn here. If we can get over that 90 level, which is going to be a little bit of a resistance point, I think we do see 92, 94 is kind of where it's going to kind of settle out, in my opinion. So that's what I got for you guys on earnings and plays this week.
All right, guys. With that, we are going to head on out and do our real session here as we have that in about an hour. As we always do mention, the link is in the description. We host these market prep sessions for free every Sunday and Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, where we go much more in depth, and we actually do about an hour and a half session where we go over actually an elongated watch list. We go much more in depth on what's in the news for us, what's in the week for the news, and then also what's going on as far as this week specifically with GDP and the earnings, et cetera, et cetera. Of course, we do try to bring you guys a lot on here, but we don't want to make, a 25-minute video for you guys to watch. We try to make it a little bit more concise for you guys. But feel free to check those links out in the description. Give us a like and a subscription. That really, really helps out, and we will catch you in the next one.